So, I just want to be clear. How is it not insane to Republicans whenever Donald Trump says, "Oh yeah, look at how adverse our, effects on education are. So, in order to fix that, I'm going to get rid of the Department of Education." Is that going to fix the problem?
Today we take a very historic action that was 45 years in the making. In a few moments, I will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education once and for all. And it sounds strange, doesn't it? Department of Education, we're going to eliminate it. And everybody knows it's right. And the Democrats know it's right. And I hope they're going to be voting for it because ultimately it may come before them. But everybody knows it's right. And we have to get our children educated. We're not doing well with the world of education in this country, and we haven't for a long time. And we're pleased to be joined today by the woman who I chose because she's an extraordinary person, and hopefully she will be our last Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon. Linda.
Oh, yeah. She's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you very much.
I love her husband.
That's another interesting statement. It's an interesting opening, right? But it's true, and people, it's been amazing how popular this has been. I tell people that this is what I'm doing today, and they say, "Oh, it's about time." Everybody says it. Republicans and Democrats have said it. They're all saying it. Also with us are some terrific people. Governors, great.
So is that even true? Is there popular support for getting rid of the poll found that 61% of all survey respondents are somewhat or strongly opposed to the idea of eliminating the Department of Education. Why are we just lying? Yeah, the poll found that 61% of all survey respondents somewhat or strongly oppose the idea of eliminating the department, compared to 64% of likely voters under the age of 45 and 59 above age who struck. Among likely who attended college, 70% opposed the plan, compared to 57 who didn't oppose college. So literally every demographic opposes this. I don't know why he keeps saying "Oh, it's so popular. Even Democrats and Republicans all agree that it's no. You're just lying. You're wrong. Literally not true.
Abbott, Greg, thank you very much. Governor Ron DeSantis, thank you very much, Ron. Mike Braun, congratulations on your victory, Mike. That was a big one. Mike DeWine, thank you very much, Mike. Jeff Landry. Jeff, thank you very much. Jeff.
Why?
Bill.
Why are we just... Why is it that every single speech he gives ends up just devolving into jerking off Republicans for winning elections? That's what is the relevance here?
Thank you. Governors, all governors. Brad Little.
All
Brad,
governors.
thank you very much. Where are you, Brad? Hi, Brad. Jim Pilan. Thank you very much, Jim. And Kim Reynolds. These are all people very interested in education. And I even see Dan Patrick over there, my friend Dan Patrick. We're joined also by Representatives Tim Walberg and Virginia Fox, Rick Allen, Michael Rulli. And again, Dan Patrick, thank you very much, Dan. You've been a great friend of ours. And State Attorneys General Ken Paxton. Ken, I see you there. Andrew Bailey. Andrew, what a job you've done, Andrew. Well, you have some good cases going. You've done a great job. Thank you very much. And co-founder of Moms for Liberty, Tiffany Justice. She's been a hard worker. Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany. When President Carter created the Federal Education Department in 1979, it was opposed by members of his own cabinet, as well as the American Federation of Teachers, the New York Times editorial board, and the famed Democrat Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan. History has proven them right, absolutely right. After 45 years, the United States spends more money on education by far than any other.
Don't you think it's a little concerning that he's saying "Oh yeah, this is super popular amongst Democrats and Republicans," and the thing that he cites to show its unpopularity is people who were Democrats who opposed it at the time of introduction? If it was unpopular now, if it wasn't working now, you would be able to point to adverse side effects of the Department of Education. You would be able to point towards polling that showed that it's unpopular now, instead of just saying, "Oh, well, this is all Republicans ever do, and they talk about the Department of Education. Do you know what it was founded for? Do you know that when we first founded it, we were only spending this much on it?" Don't you think it's weird that it still exists? Don't you think it's weird that you're not okay with the president just unilaterally getting rid of it?
Their country, and spends likewise by far more money per pupil than any country, and it's not even close. But yet we rank near the bottom of the list in terms of success. It's an amazing stat. Those are two stats you don't want. The most money spent per pupil, and you're at the bottom of the list. And that's where we are, like it or not. And we've been there for a long time. 70% of 8th graders are not proficient in either reading or in math. 70%. 40% of 4th graders lack even basic reading skills, can't read. Students in our public elementary and middle schools score worse in reading today than when the department opened, by a lot. In Baltimore, 40% of the high schools have 0 students who can do basic mathematics. Not even the very simplest of mathematics. I said, give me your definition of basic. And they're talking about like adding a few numbers together. Despite these breathtaking failures, the department's discretionary budget has exploded by 600% in a very short period of time. And it employs bureaucrats in buildings all over Washington, D.C. And as a former real estate person, I will tell you, I ride through the streets of Washington and it says Department of Education, Department of Education. I said, how do you fill those buildings? It's crazy what's happened over the years. I'm pleased to report that after offering these federal employees 2 generous buyout options, and they were very generous, and they're good people, but they were very generous. My administration has initiated a reduction in...
So, I just want to be clear. How is it not insane to Republicans whenever Donald Trump says, oh yeah, look at how adverse our, effects on education are. So, in order to fix that, I'm going to get rid of the Department of Education. Is that going to fix the problem? Is getting rid of federal funding that goes to colleges going to fix the problem in the public schools, K through 12? Is that really our priority here? Not like learning initiatives, not like anything, just getting rid of FAFSA. That's the that's the idea. And then, the only talking point that any conservative ever has, oh, well, don't you think that women can transform into men? Wow. Good one. Good one. You know how much I talk about trans issues all the time. Me and trans issues. I just talk about it all the time. It's insane.
Force, and we're already cutting numbers that were really surprising to a lot that we were able to do it so successfully. And we've cut the number of bureaucrats in half. 50% have taken office, which is great. Thank you. Under the action I'm taking today, a small handful of Democrats and others that we have employed for a long time, and there are some Republicans, but not too many, I have to be honest with you, but the department's useful functions, and such as, and they're in charge of them, Pell Grants, Title I funding, resources for children with disabilities and special needs will be preserved, fully preserved. They're all going to be. So if you look at the Pell Grants, it's supposed to be a very good program, Title I funding.
I already mentioned Common Core. No, you didn't. Unless it got withheld because you said the N-word too many times in your message. Nothing that you sent in this chat says anything about Common Core. Also, by the way, Ian, I don't know if you're aware of this. You're not the president. I would expect the president to actually be able to list problems and then address them in the speech about how we should get rid of the Department of Education, especially when he's bringing up those problems. He hasn't cited anything. You're not the president. And you didn't even provide anything. Nothing came up on my screen. Sorry. Nothing came up on my screen. Nothing came up in the Streamlabs chat. Maybe you just said the N-word too many times in it, but there's nothing to address.
And resources for children with special disabilities and special needs, they're going to be preserved in full and redistributed to various other agencies and departments that will take very good care of them. And it's very important to Linda, I know, and it's very important to all of us. But beyond these core necessities, my administration will take all lawful steps to shut down the department. We're going to shut it down and shut it down as quickly as possible. It's doing us no good. We want to return our students to the states where...
So here's the question. I need a lawyer. So... I know that, okay, so there was a debate between a guy named Pisco and a guy named Lactoid, okay? They had a debate on whether or not we're in a constitutional crisis or not. And I have respect for Pisco, obviously, as has been shown on this channel. And I honestly have a little bit of respect for Lactoid as well. And he said that, notice that the only critique about what I just said is, oh, well, Joe Biden once spoke. Okay. I relatively respect Lactoid, and the bar that he set for what would constitute a constitutional crisis is if Donald Trump signed an executive order to dismantle an executive agency, because obviously this is a power of Congress, this is not a power of the executive. Now, my question is, do you think that conservatives are going to start walking back that, and particularly, do you think that this person would walk back that we're in a constitutional crisis because in the executive order, he says all lawful means to do an illegal thing? Do you think that all conservatives are going to walk back that title? Constitutional crisis is a buzzword being used by gay men right now. Like, I don't know what you get from just like shadowboxing nobody. Like, I don't know, like why are you even here? Listen, I'll give you 5 minutes to join the Discord. We can have a conversation. If you don't join back in the Discord, then you are kicked. I'll give you 5 minutes to join the Discord about if we're in a constitutional crisis or not. If you don't, then you're timed out in the chat. Put up or shut up. I'm sorry. If you're just gonna shadowbox with nothing, then you're the one streaming to an empty room. Okay, well, listen, you're watching it. I don't like you're commenting on it. Come talk. Okay, that's more or less what I figured. He's just a pussy. He's a pussy that shadowboxes in my chat all the goddamn time, and that tries to appeal to me being unpopular when he's in my chat all the time. It's hilarious.
Some of the governors here are so happy about this. They want education to come back to them, to come back to the states, and they're going to do a phenomenal job. You know, if you look, Denmark, Norway, Sweden,
Why is he
I have to tell you, I give him a lot of credit.
Gay,
China's top 10,
take advantage of him.
and so we can't now say that bigness is making it impossible to educate because China's very big. But you have countries that do a very good job in education, and I really believe, like some of the governors here today, from states that run very, very well, including a big state like Texas, but states that run very well are going to have education that will be as good as Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and those top Finland, those top countries that do so well with education. I think they'll do every bit as well. And what do you think about that, Governor? Do you agree? I think so. Ron, do you agree? I think so. Florida, Iowa. That's right. I really believe that they'll be as good as any of them. And then you'll have some laggards.
No plan to do anything, by the way. He's just saying, you know, I'm getting rid of the Department of Education, and I think that it's going to be good. I think that we're all of a sudden going to be able to climb up the rankings and get to the level of Norway's education system, even though I'm not going to do anything to do it. And the only thing I'm going to do is break the Constitution in order to terminate the Department of Education, and that's going to save our education somehow. Are you doing a DC call or just stream? You can come in and we can watch this if you want to. But I'm gonna watch this and then we can get into Discord call. And I'm probably going to do some debate prep. But if you want to come in and watch this, you're allowed to as well. Just hop in a waiting room and let me know.
And we'll work with them. And we can all tell you who the laggards will be right now, probably. But let's not get into that. But we'll work with them, and we're going to make them, they'll do a job. I think they'll do a job, and they'll go to sections of the state. For instance, New York, you'll have a Manhattan, and you'll have a Suffolk County, and you'll have a Nassau County, and you'll have Westchester County. You'll do 4 or 5 or 6 of them. You have upstate New York, and those counties, I think, are going to do very well. And I think ultimately Manhattan should do very well. But we'll break it down into sections, and I think it'll be really, really good. And they're going to be probably the tougher ones, but I think they have a chance to do really well. But we're going to be returning education very simply back to the states where it belongs. And this is a very popular thing to do, but much more importantly, it's a common sense thing to do. And it's going to work. Absolutely, it's going to work. And I can tell you from dealing with the governors and others in the state, they want it so badly. They want to take their children back and really teach their children individually. Probably the cost will be half.
Literally,
and the education will be maybe many.
That's fan behavior, dog. I'm not gay. I'm sorry. Imagine coming in on an alt account because you're so ass bad that I timed you out because you're too much of a pussy to come and talk. Imagine that. Imagine that. It's hilarious. Keep bumping up the viewers, bud.
8 times better. So we look forward to this. I want to just make one little personal statement. Teachers, to me, are among the most important people in this country, and we're going to take care of our teachers. And I don't care if they're in the union or not in the union. That doesn't matter. But we're going to take care of our teachers, and I believe the states will take actually better care of them than they are taken care of right now. They'll work all sorts of systems and even merit systems. Those great teachers are going to be maybe a little bit better rewarded, or maybe.
Okay. To any conservative who potentially watches this speech or watches this video, can you name me one thing other than terminating the Department of Education that Donald Trump wants to do to improve education? Like one thing that he said in this speech that he's going to do in order to benefit education at all? At all. Anything at all other than just saying, I'm going to terminate the Department of Education, and I think it's going to be good, and we're going to be just about as good as Norway. This is brain rot. This is literally like political brain rot.
Maybe that's the way it should be, but the states are going to make that decision. But we're going to love and cherish our teachers along with our children, and they're going to work with the parents, and they're going to work with everybody else, and it's going to be an amazing thing to watch, and it's really going to be something special. And Linda, you're presiding over something that's so important. And
I kicked Ian from the Discord for being a Yahtzee. I'm inviting you to rejoin. There's a link in the description. You can literally rejoin. There's a link in the description. Clearly you don't have a problem with creating alt accounts either, because you come in 3 goddamn times in order to come in, and I don't know, maybe you just need to see my beautiful face. I don't know what it is. Just come talk. It's super easy. We can have a good conversation, but I mean, you're too much of a pussy to actually come in and join the Discord. So I mean, I don't know. I'm on my lunch break. Okay, yeah. I totally believe that you're on your lunch break, so you have time to create fucking 3 alt accounts. 3 alt accounts to come in and chat in my thing. Okay, bud. Fan behavior.
you're going to do a fantastic job, just like you have your whole life. I know your whole life I've been watching you. I've been watching you for a long time. She's had nothing but success. So it's tremendous to have you, and hopefully you won't be there too long, but we're going to find something else for you, Linda, okay? So this will conclude what we are talking about with respect to our most cherished group of people, and that's our children.
Okay. That will conclude what we're talking about. Boy. That was the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Literally no justifications for what he's doing, no anything, no nothing.
We want to have our children well